Anywhere in the state of California, you can build 1,200 square feet in your backyard by right. Your neighbor can't stop you. The community planning department can't stop you. Like, you can do it by right. This is popping up in other places across America. It's happening in Cincinnati and Ohio. It just got approved. It's happening in Austin. It's happening in Florida. And so where do you build? Well, you start in your backyard.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Evolve Your Brand podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Amirkhiz, and I just want to give a huge shout out. This is where the red and black comes in. The colors are red and white, but this is in honor of Icon Industries. Shed ×2, ×3. Wow, I got that wrong. ×3, because you love yourself so much, we have to go hire 2 more of you. Steven, we love you so much. I named an eel after you. The rest of the crew here, all of this magic happens because of you. Love you guys. Without further ado, Steak and Weeks, Chris Luna.
Let's go. Thanks for getting me in the studio, man. You're bringing the energy. I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you okay? Are
Fired
you more
up.
excited?
I'm very excited. See, I need to be more like you on my podcast. I got to fire people up. It's an experience, right?
Oh, bro, it's an experience. Like, I want to blow your fucking mind away where you're like, dude, the standard for all podcasts is Evolve Your Brand podcast.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Good. That's good. I love it, man. You're inspiring me. I'm happy to be
backyard community.
Ooh.
It's an umbrella.
It's an umbrella, man. I was playing small. I was playing just well, actually, you might have had a question on that. I don't want to just
No.
I can dive
This
in.
is your show. I'm just the host. Go.
Okay. Well, so Backyard Billionaire started off as an education company. I was really excited about it. I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to help all these people. I'm going to do deals with them. And I always had this iffy feeling. Everyone was like, yeah, call it Backyard Billionaire. But me personally, I didn't like it because I didn't want this to be about me. Billionaire describes one person, but everyone around me was saying, no, lean into it. It's good. You'll get attention from it, blah, blah, blah. But as I'm sitting there this weekend, I start thinking this is not about me, and it's never been about me. It's about the freaking community and the people who are doing things and seeing their growth and seeing the expansion. So rebranding all of this backyard community, like an umbrella company. And then underneath that, we're going vertically integrated. We got property management, backyard management. We got backyard construction, backyard media, all these things along the way. So we can take anybody from point A to point B by joining our community.
Okay. So backyard media, Pineda.
Yeah.
How come you're going that route? I'm curious on why you're starting a media division. I think you have great people in your corner.
Yeah.
I know some of your creators and I get it. I think it's natural. How come you decided to go that route?
There's actually companies that are more important. The most important company for me is the development company in education because that's top of funnel and that's what gets people into the community. The fund, the construction company, the property management, and the brokerage, those are the big companies. That's like the big, like if it's a big pie, those are the big part of the pie. Okay. Now, the media, it's not even an in-house infrastructured company. It's more so, hey, Brandon, you already own Short Form Pros, his company. And it's more so me sending people who are agents at my brokerage or investors who want to build their personal brands to Brandon. So it's more so of a referral. I'm not starting like a full-on media company. It's more so like, hey, Brandon, throw me X amount of dollars. I'm going to send all my business to you. I am going to brand it under the Backyard umbrella so people know I'm associated with you. Right. Because I love Brandon as a person. But yeah, that's it.
See, okay, so do you, you were on a Stern Talk. One of the things that William and Dean talk about a lot is they love working with friends. Mm-hmm. It's like a core, like if you get their story, like they all grew up like childhood friends, freaking cool as fuck.
That's amazing. It's like Entourage.
What about you? It is, bro. It is Entourage. I'm calling them the next time a Stern Talk, William.
Yeah.
We're calling you, coined it. What about you? Do you enjoy, like, you and Brandon seem like you have a great bond, friends. Yeah. What do you think about working with friends?
I think it's great. You have to be careful, because when money's involved, that can, personalities and money and mixing all that stuff, you do have to be careful. But I've enjoyed it. I've made a lot of money with my college fraternity brothers over the years, but also, a lot of us, sometimes we compete for the same deals. So,
Right.
so you do have to be careful with it. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I enjoy working with Brandon. He brings the energy, he uplifts me, and, I could be having a bad day and I'll chat with Brandon about a live stream and I'll get all fired up and excited, because like surrounding yourself with good, solid people has always been something I've wanted to do. And Brandon's been a great key player for me to build my personal brand. And to be sitting in this seat is probably because of Brandon's ability to see talent in me and then pull that talent out of me so that I could show up on camera for the audience.
He's really, I've studied this space for a long, long time, and I didn't think I would ever get to this level. Like, sitting here is shocking for me, Brandon does it right. He preaches authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
be you, whatever you are. And do you know what I appreciate about your brand? You're genuinely a good guy. Like, see what you see on social media, and then you meet you in person is exactly the same.
I appreciate that.
Do you have that experience with people?
Yeah, I get that a lot. Not to toot my own horn, but when you hear things enough, like, I didn't believe that about myself, but when I hear that from people over and over again, I'm like, oh, I guess that is true. Like, on the Stern Talk, the first thing he said to me was like, you kind of remind me of Pace Morby. Like, maybe it's the hat and the authenticity, but sometimes I think people have limiting beliefs on how people are perceiving them. They don't know how people are perceiving them because of their childhood wounds and trauma and all the things. So just stepping into that, I would really encourage that. But I appreciate that compliment, and that's something I'll always continue to do.
As we've gotten guests with different type of results. We're all of us should be working on elevating. It's funny to me, like, that when you actually, if you really want to get to know a person, see who they hang out with and then ask them what they think about the person. It's crazy.
That's good.
That's crazy.
Good. Yeah, let's get an insight into them right there.
Well, that tells you everything, right? Because, like, if you love somebody, you'll be like, if I ask Brandon about Chris Luna, I already know.
Yeah, you already know.
I already know.
Yeah, that's good.
I think you could tell a lot about character. And we're in real estate. So what are your thoughts about, I think the media, I talk about this with a lot of real estate professionals. Do you think our reputation is earned when it comes to being very transactional versus people-centric? Because I think real estate professionals have a huge opportunity to change legacy, and not a lot of us capitalize on it. So I commend you. That's one of the reasons why you're here, because I think you run a reputable business and you do right by people, which is a win-win situation.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about that and the real estate professional community? Do we do a great job of helping people, get educated about it and then address some of the stereotypes on media?
Yeah, I think that it could be hit or miss. I've had a recent experience with a wholesaler where they threw me through the ringer, and I'm trying to be calm through the situation, and I was calm. But they're making promises, they're closing late, and so that now puts a bad stigma. That's my first time working with a wholesaler on the wholesaling game. And I think it's kind of hit or miss. That's a bad experience. That's this side of the spectrum. The good side of the spectrum is, okay, this agent or this investor performed on time. They're nice. They're honest. They closed the deal. Things came up. Challenges will come up in real estate, right? There's a lot of moving parts. You have escrow, title, lenders, property managers, tenants. There's so many moving parts. Yep. So things are inevitably will come up. Now, how do you handle those things when they come up? That defines your character, who you are, and how people will perceive you. And real estate, it's a big game, but the players know the players, the agents know the agents. And so your character is super important, and also your reputation, because that you can't.
You brought up the R word.
The R word.
How important is, what does the Chris Luna reputation stand for?
I want to be known as a real estate investor who is transparent, who shares everything, who does not hold back on things. The good, the bad, the ugly. I'm talking wins, I'm talking losses. I'm not scared to share it anymore. Before I was. And what that created was, it created this thing inside of me. It's actually kind of scary. It's like I was being perceived as this hotshot real estate investor agent, which, I had the credentials. That's fine. But sometimes if I lose a deal, I get down on myself. And what I'm trying to say is, I think if you don't share those losses, the parts of you, the vulnerable parts, you're actually doing a disservice to yourself, to your audience, to your friends, to your family, because you're just like showing one side. You're showing the wins. And so what it does is it creates this like polarity inside of yourself where you're like, you only share the wins, but like you lost that deal, you're mean to that person, so you don't feel good about yourself. And so that's why I've just been trying to share everything.
Chris, holy shit. Good for you, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Like the vulnerability, like that's hard. I don't think most people, like it's taken me years because I'm new in real estate, compared to like the people that I follow. Yeah. So you're always measuring up. Like, for me, for you, it might be Pace or Brandon Turner. You're like, hey, these are the guys. Like if you compare yourself to them, you're like, dude, they've been at it a lot longer and you just got to do right by people. Yeah. How do you lose, Ben and I were talking about this. How do you lose by bringing people value?
I don't think you do. Ever. No. Yeah, just bring value, give. It's like that whole give. And then one call to action here and there to get someone into your ecosystem, your brand, your sale, and be providing a service that actually helps them. Like at Backyard Education, we're actually helping people learn.
Let's jump into the backyard community. So what problem are you focused on solving? Like when you grew up in real estate and the freedom that you've been able to accomplish yourself, what legacy do you want to pass on for your students that join?
For legacy wise?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something new that I've learned. The pastor at my church, he talks about the reason he's built such a big church, Awaken Church, is because he's empowered leaders at different locations. And so I thought to myself, well, I'm always learning from my church. There's so much wisdom in the Bible and from pastors and all these people around me. And I said, well, how can I apply that to my business? It's no different. And so I've been a solopreneur for a lot of like on my come up stage where I'm trying to do everything myself. I had a cell phone repair business. I'm fixing the phones. I'm taking the calls. I'm ordering the screens. I'm doing everything myself. I'm just stressed out. I'm cranky. I'm like, I need people around me. Grant Cardone, one time it was 2020. I'm on his TikTok. I think it was Clubhouse. And I'm talking.
Oh, Clubhouse. What happened to Clubhouse? That went away quick.
It did go away. So I asked him a question though. I get a chance to talk to Grant for the first time and I recorded it. He says to me, because I'm telling him I want to start a fund. And he goes, you're going to need people. Those words ring in my head over and over. You will need people. So back where I'm tying all that in is, for the longest time, I've been a solopreneur. I get the advice from Uncle G, you need people. Simple advice, but it's true. And for years, I still struggle with that because I'm trying to do everything myself. Why? Because I don't trust people, right? So that's some work I'm doing myself to trust people. Now that I trust people, I can empower these leaders like TJ, like Celia, my property manager, like Josh at Investor Relations. So now I got these people around me, I build them up. And then that's how the backyard community expands. That's how you go from having one church to having 7 churches. But in this case, that's how I go from having one business to 3 or 4 businesses.
And how are you going to do it the Luna way? Like, where does the Luna come into?
Yeah.
Like, where is your personality and passion fit in?
That's a good point. I think it's that I didn't come from money. My parents, my mom had worked 30 years. My dad just retired recently. He just retired.
Where'd you grow up?
Sacramento.
Okay.
Sacktown. Yeah. So we come from like a total middle-class family. We didn't have it hard, but my point is we didn't come from much.
You weren't handed shit.
I was not handed nothing, zero. And, I think what I want to show people is that if I came from a middle-class family and I've created this success, you can too. And you do that by starting in your backyard.
Now you're speaking my language. Okay. So I love open houses, and I'll share with you why I love open houses. I love open houses because I think the number one responsibility that I have, besides caring for people, understanding what their goals are, and giving them options to solve the problem they want, whatever that is, affordability, buy a house, I'm there for them. I'm not there for me. So open houses give me an opportunity to connect with people that are actively in the market. And I hear one thing that come up with agents when you know, it's a single family and has a space for it. This has forward potential for building a additional dwelling unit, which is, can you talk about that? Like, what is the backyard community? Like, what is the potential? If I just bought a house and I have that, what can I do?
Yeah. I mean, basically anywhere in the state of California, you can build 1,200 square feet in your backyard by right. That's by right, meaning your neighbor can't stop you. The community planning department can't stop you. Like, you can do it by right. That's the key word, by right. This is popping up in other places across America. It's happening in Cincinnati and Ohio. It just got approved. It's happening in Austin. It's happening in Florida. So the state is becoming more pro-development because there is a housing crisis in certain markets where, like, such as San Diego. With San Diego, you have the ocean, you have the mountains, you have Camp Pendleton, and you have Tijuana. There's nowhere to build outside of that. So you're we call these barriers to entry. And so where do you build? Well, you start in your backyard. Sorry, what was your question? I kind of lost track.
Well, no, you got it. So you start in your backyard.
Yeah.
So I have the space.
Yep.
I've been considering it. And I don't think a lot of people, I take for advantage the knowledge that we have in real estate, you know, and I think that if you could take something complicated and make it simple. So I have the space, I have 900,000 in equity. I've heard all this stuff about ADU and the potential. And it's expensive to live in California, recession, inflation, everything is happening all at once. Where do I get started?
Yeah. So if you already own a property and you are at a competitive advantage because you've taken down half the battle. We talk about at my program, deal, debt, equity. So if you have the deal because you live there with your wife and your kids, maybe the kids went off to college, you're bored, you want to get your hands dirty. Okay, well, you have the deal already, you have the land, you have the backyard. Now let's talk about debt. That's the part where a lot of people get scared. They say, Chris, how am I going to pay for this thing? 200K, 150,000, plans and permits. I don't got that money. Well, there's some options for you. Number one option could be a HELOC. Just as you would take a HELOC to, say, fix, I don't know, a water heater or whatever.
Get
solar.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to spend 200K. You could build a smaller garage conversion, maybe spend 125,000. And so now you have 400, garage is usually 400 square feet. Convert your garage. You have a little studio unit. Maybe your mom can move into it. It's a granny flat like it was back in the day. That's what they were called, granny flats.
Right.
So how do you fund it? Could be a HELOC. It could be a 401k. You have some money saved up. Instead of having those guys manage your money, which they make money on points and fees, maybe you pay that fee. It sucks, sure, but take that money out, take the equity out, and put it into your property that you already own. That could be another way, 401k. The last way I would say, I'm going to just make this up on the spot, is go and raise the capital from somebody else who just wants to make an interest on their loan to you. So go talk to Chris Luna. Say, Chris, I have plans and permits to build, to convert my garage. Can I borrow 100K from you at 10% for 6 months? And then I lend that money out. He pays me back if he plans to sell the property or refinance. The problem is he can't refinance if rates are where they're at. So you just gotta be careful. That's part of the game. You gotta be careful and have a coach or a friend kind of guide you through it.
Or get a mortgage advisor that will run the numbers for you.
That's you.
You would be, hey, Chris, it's the funniest thing, man. Like, I have people that call me. This is the biggest compliment I've ever gotten. I'm the money person. If you get, as a mortgage advisor, you could become people's money people. You've earned your right, because that's the power we have in real estate. How do you impact lives? Like, someone builds 2 ADUs on their home that they're sitting on 900,000 in equity.
Yeah.
2, you just created more housing.
Love that. That checks one box.
One huge box.
Yeah, like
you're gonna solve affordability, because as long as you have a reputable person that's explaining the numbers, you're not gonna get in the bad deal where you're gonna have negative cash flow. So I think it's a lot of, like, I take it for granted how much lack of information is out there. And then when you get into something that, you know, is overwhelming for most people with the ADU, because how are you going to pay for it?
Yeah.
It's like, it's a great idea. I love it.
Yeah.
Where do I get the money? You just basically became private money bank.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I see that in the ecosystem down the road where I'm approaching these doctors, these chiropractors, these high income earners who don't have the time. We become a debt fund in which we take 100K from John, 100K from Alex. We put it all together. We borrow from them at 7%. We lend at 9%. And we lend to people in our community that we know, like, and trust because they're showing up to the education calls.
Whoa.
We like them. We know they have a good deal because we saw them present it to all of us. So it's all about, like, I don't know if you know this, but the Jewish community, they are very successful. They have the 10 commandments, but they always do business together. I don't know if you knew that. Like, I've heard this, like the Jewish community, they stick to the people in their community, and that helps build trust because they know, like, and trust them. So it's easier to do people with people you know, like, and trust is my point. And that's the point of having
Backyard community.
Exactly.
So, and that's where you said you're just reinforcing that. I think real estate professionals have this reputation as far as it's portrayed on media, is that we don't care about people. And there are plenty of us that care about people because do you know what the best reward is? Like when somebody buys a home, I'm like, holy shit, I know how hard you had to sacrifice. I'm so happy and proud of you. Like, it means the world. And then if you could show them how to build legacy, I'm sorry to break it. Some of my families, I'm saying you got to move out of state, become an investor in a different state. Like, it's practical because we got to solve problems.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think a lot of us do that in the real estate community because we're so focused on getting transactions.
100%. I think the city of San Diego needs 10,000 units by 2029, I think it is. I don't know if I have that data right. I'm not sure the year, but it's 10,000 units. Yeah. And we've only built like 1,000 so far. There's a lot in plans and permits, but it's like, it's go time. If you are in San Diego, you're sitting on a gold mine.
Okay, you know what I was shocked at was how long it takes for the ADU permitting. Like I saw some of your stats and you're like, it takes a year. So I watch this. I reach out to Backyard Community. I'm like, hey, I want to get the ball rolling on getting this done. What am I looking at if I set up my appointment next week? It makes sense. What's the timelines look like?
So a few different options. If you're trying to convert a garage, often you can get that as over the counter. It's almost instant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's almost instant, maybe a month. It's fast. Okay, that's option one.
Nice.
Pretty quick. Next option, 1,200 square feet. I'm thinking when I started in the game around San Diego State, 2018, I'm starting building these. It was taking about 3 to 4 months to get plans and permits for one 1,200 square foot ADU. That might take a little longer now. Call it 5 or 6 months.
Okay.
Now that's one ADU. You want to get into the game where I'm starting to play and it's building 10 to 15 ADUs. That happens over time, right? That's going to take longer. That's a whole year of waiting. And either way, the way I see it is that time's going to go by. Like, I'm going to be a year from now, am I going to wish I had stamp plans for a property or I'm not? So it takes time, but I'm in it for the long haul. And I think if you could have that investor mindset of, hey, time's going to go by either way. 1 year's going to go by, 2 years going to go by. You're going to be happy that you got in that deal, you built that deal, and you sold it as opposed to not doing that.
Yeah. And you know what? I love the fact that you said right now I'm looking at the bigger projects. You have to work up to that.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I think it's really overwhelming. You know, the reason why I'm a huge fan of funds and doing something small like an ADU is it's daunting and overwhelming, especially with rates the way they are, home prices escalating the way they have nationally, for anyone to get into actual single family real estate investment. For regular, like if you've never done it, it's like drinking from a fire hose. No, thank you. It's way too many. You got to get a property manager. You got to evaluate this. I think sometimes starting small is your best bet. And the ADU is in your backyard.
100%.
I'm just saying, what are the benefits of doing this strategy?
I want to add to that real quick. A lot of my early deals, they're garage conversions. I'm converting these garages for like $60,000, plans and permits 10,000. I'm all in 70 or 80,000 bucks, and I'm adding 400 square feet. And it was just easy because any contractor could do it. It's very simple. So I started off in garage conversions, then I moved to 1,200 square feet in the backyard detached. Now I'm getting into more of a multifamily development play. Check back in with me in a year and I'm like, oh yeah, we just got our first 4-story approved. We got an elevator, and I'll get into that game. From the development standpoint, building a garage is the same amount of work and effort as building a 4-story or a 10-story high rise. It just takes more time, effort, money, and people.
And now you have the experience, the skill set, the resources, and the network to do those bigger projects.
Exactly.
We're early on. I mean, who's going to trust you?
Yeah, exactly. Like I call it 101, 201, 301, 401.
Where are you at now? Are you at 801?
I think I'm at like 301.
Oh, 301. Okay.
Which
I was like,
which is like 3-story construction almost.
I got you.
And then I'll get to the 4-story where you have an elevator and you need sprinklers and codes. But who knows? Maybe I get to.
Well, when you get a really, really cool project, I wanted to evolve your brand to get an invite so we can go like record
Absolutely.
content. You know what I mean?
Super.
And you said it in a year. I was thinking like you would be our ADU backyard community specialist, and once every 3 months stop by and
Absolutely.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely. I could talk about deals.
you're gonna. I want to do that because here's where I'm going, Chris. I've thought about myself as a mortgage advisor. I'm like, what's the biggest value, the change that I can make, which is to connect all my families with people like yourself. Like that's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
They're all homeowners. They're equity rich. They're not going to move. And any mortgage advisor that recommends for you to get rid of your first mortgage right now, and you're sitting out money at 3%,
Yeah.
400,000 or 500,000, who has your best interest in mind?
Yeah.
Like I can't tell anybody logically, unless you absolutely have to move. Why would you give up that money? Would you?
No. Like that, those low interest rates, the 2.9s, like keep that for forever.
You want to wrap that, right? You're like, I'll take over your.
I'll take it.
Please let me take it over. What do you see as a biggest opportunity from your point of view in the space that you're in? Your average homeowner, they own it. They're sitting on the equity. What should I do to take advantage of the opportunity that's available in San Diego? Because, like you said, we're blocked in.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we need more housing.
Yep.
And you can build up. Building out, I don't think is really.
No. Yeah. So, sorry, what was the question with
The
that?
question is, where do you see the opportunity for your homeowners right now
Yeah.
to be able to play where investors are playing?
Yeah.
Because investors are taking, like, they're capitalizing on the opportunity.
Yeah.
There's big companies, big corporations that are going up, buying properties. Okay. We have our local investors. If I own a house right now, I'm equity rich. What would you advise? Where is the opportunity for me if I want to help build more housing?
Yeah, that's sorry. Okay, I get the question. What I would say is more so like, yeah, in their backyard. That's the obvious answer because they can just literally start today. They can call us, get in our coaching community, or they don't even need us. They go straight to an architect and they can figure it out is the truth. But besides in their own backyard, when I say start in your backyard, there's more to it. It's not just your own personal backyard. I invested in the 92115, which is San Diego State from 2016 to 2021. So I'm talking like 5 or 6, it was like 6 years before I even looked into Pacific Beach or North Park. I was so dialed in on the 92115. A little tip of free value is the best way to find the deals is go on download the Redfin app,
right?
Type in your zip code. Let's say you want to be PB 92109. Save the search, hit instantly. And then so when a deal pops in your market that you want to be in, it is sent to your phone. You can go and analyze that deal instantly and be in the game today. Okay.
I find a deal. Is there an opportunity? Because there are investors that do this. Do you partner with people that have a deal that you guys would take a look at?
100%. I mean, Lucas brought a deal to our community. We underwrote it last week. He already owns that deal. That particular deal, there was not enough meat on the bone, meaning there was not enough upside for me to get excited. For him, it makes sense. He already owns it. Other deals, this is crazy. Josh, one of my best students and co-founder of Backyard Fund, he literally, he saw the deal hit on a coaching call. I think this was like in October 2023. And then on the coaching call, I called the agent 24 hours, or that same day we were in the property, 24 hours later, we were in escrow. And that deal does not come to us if he did not see it because he had Redfin notifications on. So he found the deal. He had some capital, I had some capital. We came together. We made some money on that deal.
How competitive is this landscape right now in San Diego?
It is
with investors.
It is becoming more known. Everyone knows about ADUs.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't know how to underwrite and they're scared of the debt markets. And so there is some blood in the streets where people are a little nervous. A lot of multifamily syndicators are getting whacked right now because interest rates, of course, and they didn't have interest caps and loans are coming due.
Yeah.
People are losing money. You know, it's tough. So there is some fear in the streets, but I like San Diego for development, not as much cash flow. If I want cash flow, I'm looking in Las Vegas multifamily, Arizona, Cincinnati, outside of California.
Okay. So can you explain the difference on how you evaluate that? Because I think that's really important.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Northern California that want to buy a second home in San Diego. And they think they're going to do the Airbnb short-term rental, long-term. I'm like, the math's not going to work out for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to cash flow. And you're not going to even break even. You're going to literally, you're like, hey, I'm putting my money down that the lotto ticket is going to hit and we're going to have another boom. I just don't see that boom that we had in San Diego during COVID happen again.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think that, the cost basis, what that means is what your acquisition price plus your development, all those costs, soft costs and hard costs to build the structure, it's too high. We looked at a deal this morning on our coaching call in Escondido, and
Perfect.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Yeah. Mario just joined the community, and he's been absorbing the info as a sponge. It's been cool to see the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I texted him yesterday. I was like, man, you got any deals that we want to look at in Escondido? Because I want to break into this market.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to. Well, that's the thing is when you can build leaders, right? I consider Mario a future leader.
Okay.
He could be a leader in Escondido, and he has the development capabilities. He could be the boots on the ground out here. That's my way to get into a new
Escondido. Did you hear that? This is the studios in Escondido.
Escondido, right?
Chris Luna is expanding. You might as well. Maybe there's a deal coming from.
Yeah.
One of
Vista,
our audience members.
Oceanside, you never
Let's
know.
go.
Like, I'm trying to expand. The Backyard brand started in San Diego, but it will go nationwide. We have people in Sacramento, Jake, who's in our program, and he's doing deals with people in San Diego who's bringing the money. Jake's the operator. And so now we're like moving things around and you're able to collaborate. But back to your original question, I think it was about
it's really where the opportunity is, because what I want to do is this: I want to make real estate more digestible, so it's not like you hear this all the time with investing in California. It's not landlord friendly. There's too much risk. The deals that you're not going to cash flow.
Yeah.
So, but you're investing in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
How is it that you're investing in San Diego and everyone says California is? You're an investor. You do it for a living. I figured we want your point of view.
I would say this. I've had a deal go bad. This is a learning lesson for some.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I have an 8 unit in Pacific Beach. Rents were really low. I bought it at the worst time possible. It's July 2022. I go under contract. It's the biggest deal I've ever bought. $3.85 million. I'm on top of the world. I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting this. I was coming off a high of closing a 2.5 and a 3.3 all in Pacific Beach. So that was a total of 7 plus 5 plus 8. All in all, 20 units. I'm super excited. But the first 2 went well. We made money. The last deal, the 8 unit, the rents were really low, and I got into some bad debt on it. It's been a learning experience for me because the tenants' rents are really low, and I can only bump it 10%. They don't want me to remodel them, and my hands are tied. I can't do anything with that deal except add ADUs. That's the upside still is I still have the ADU play by the beach. I'm adding 6 ADUs there. It's all good. It's going to be okay. But right now it sucks because I'm going through it. Now, I'll finish with this. If you're in San Diego and you have like 8 tenants, that's 8 potential issues that could arise. Now, if I buy a nice little 2 unit or a single family home and with a big backyard where you can add the units, that's a better play in my opinion.
I like that. That's actually, so I always believe like starting small, there's more risk that that you're exposing yourself to.
Yeah.
Is when you start small. Because when you get into these bigger projects and it's hilarious, I'm like, you have no experience. The bank is going to absolutely just destroy you. Like you have no experience.
Yeah.
That's why partnering up makes so much sense. So what was not raising the rent? So I went to a recent event. It was talking about rent control and that it's a huge turnoff for investors. And investors are the ones that are building housing.
Yeah.
Like they're the ones that are getting it done, which is like if you sat back and thought about it, investors don't get the credit that they deserve, but they're the ones that are creating better housing.
Yeah.
So why aren't they getting the credit that they deserve? And why do we make it so hard instead of making it easier? Like, I'm a huge Jordan Marks fan. He's like, dude, let me make it easier for builders and investors to build.
Yeah.
So we have more housing, and that solves.
Yeah. There's like the stigma with real estate development.
You're laughing. I mean, it's hilarious, right?
Yeah. It's like
you can't raise the rents.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense?
Yeah. It's unfair.
How much below market are they?
Okay, we're talking on one of the units, it's like $1,300 for a 2-bed, 1-bath in PB.
In PB?
The remodeled unit, I'm getting about $4,200 per month in rent, so significant. Yeah.
And how come you're comfortable? So some might say, how is $4,200 reasonable rent for?
Well, yeah, the guy who actually rents that from me, he makes more money than I do because he's doing Airbnb arbitrage there. So like I could get more than $4,200 if I Airbnb'd it, but I choose to, I'm trying to build something much bigger. So to focus, oh man, I just had an idea. Backyard B&B, that could become an Airbnb arbitrage business. I wouldn't want to run that. It's a small little sliver of everything.
Right.
I'd want to find an operator who could do it. And so that's one thing I've realized as I'm starting a lot of companies. It's read this book called Who, Not How. There's a visionary and an operator. I came up in the world as an operator. I've learned a lot, but I think I'm more of a visionary. I have ideas, but I don't like to be the one doing all the grit work. I like to empower people and build them up, build these leaders and see them. I get joy seeing them grow up and learn.
I love it. How have you been able to, a lot of successful entrepreneurs that I've seen, especially when they're starting a lot of businesses, what they're doing is, the hardest thing is to let go of the control and
Oh, that's hard.
Smile.
For me. That's hard for me.
I set him up on that one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see the reaction. You guys saw it. What do you think?
Well, I just know I'm a control freak. My ex-girlfriend told me. So
and whatever the ex-girlfriend says is true, right?
It's totally true.
Totally
and then the
true.
ex before her said it. So it's okay. It's who I am. And I'm not mad about that. I accept it. I embrace it. And now I could take responsibility for it and change that and let go of control a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. So it's all good.
Has it made a huge difference as far as how successful of an entrepreneur and leader you've become by letting go of the reins?
I have become more peaceful and happy because I understand that whatever happens, it's going to be okay either way. We could lose the deal. We could lose money. All these things can go wrong. It could be all on my shoulders or the operator who is running that deal. And I'm still going to be okay. Like I will figure it out. I have a gritty mindset. I'm relentless. I want to win. I will get back up. So it's okay. I could take an L and still be okay.
Look at that.
So I'm peaceful. I'm peace. I got peace running through my heart right now.
So what's the biggest tip? So you see all this glorified entrepreneurship, like everything is easy. And I got to be honest with you, I'm waiting for the easy part. I'm just not sure if everything is hard. Like I never have an easy day in real estate. Like if you really care about people, you're going to be throwing curveballs, and you do have a peaceful, tranquil approach to like, it's going to happen and everything is figure outable.
Yep. Yeah.
How long did it take you before you had this?
The Zen about me.
That's a great word.
I would say that's recent.
Okay.
That probably happened in 2023 because I got a lot going on right now still in my head. Like I got a lot going on where, a bad deal here, just a lot of stuff. And I'm still peaceful through it. So that's a recent thing for me. Yoga's helped, meditation, going on walks, and actually therapy, talking to someone else about whatever's going on without feeling like they're judging me. So I have a therapist, and she's great. I just talk to her, tell her about my problems. She really just listens and gives me feedback on how she sees the situation. And I don't think there's any, like I used to have this, I think people have a stigma like, oh, you have a therapist, something's wrong with you. No, it's just talking. You're just talking, instead of keeping all up in your head.
I mean, you're a lot more progressive, and like kudos. I wish at 35 I had a therapist, because like when you grow up, I'm in my 40s. When you grow up, there's a stigma like you're a man, you don't need a fucking therapist. Like there is something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I take a different approach with my sons, where I'm like, dude, it's all good. Like just be you.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Speak. I want them to have the freedom of choice and also care about their community.
Yeah. There you go. And this is a form of therapy right now too. People don't know that. The podcast, this is the same thing as sitting with a therapist. You're my therapist for the day. And we're just chatting about life. And so instead of me being all up here, I'm able to just speak stuff. And guess what? We happen to have a third person in the room, and that's our audience.
Yeah.
So it's me, you, and the audience. And now it's a form of therapy for them because they get to learn from my mistakes and the stuff I'm going through. People have been reaching out to me since I've been a little more vulnerable on social media the last, 2 or 3 months. And they're all they resonate and connect more.
Yeah.
And then that's just part of like my authenticity, which you started with.
Chris, like if you're in the North County and you don't know Chris Luna, you should definitely look him up because here's the thing. I'm all about like this show. I'm going to stand strong. Evolve Your Brand is about people that they care. They're given a great experience. They're bringing value. They don't pitch and sell. Like we're not going to advocate for people like that because I think the change happens within our communities. Mm-hmm. It's parents stepping up and saying, hey, here are leaders within our community. Let's highlight them. Let's share their stories. Like, fuck, dude, you were talking about when I tuned in, and I apologize about the profanity, but I was tuning in. You and Brandon were talking, and you're like, dude, I was literally when I was parking cars.
No, I was
waiter.
Hotel. Yeah.
You were talking about that. I'm like, dude, like he's done the grind. Like it didn't come easy. Like nobody starts off like, oh, I made it as an investor.
100%.
It doesn't work that way.
I mean, how that all went down is it's 2012. My grandpa, like, he's amazing. Like he put all of his grandkids through college. So I had that. I had that going for me. Like he put me through San Diego State, but after 5 years.
Oh, you're an Aztec?
Yeah. Let's go. State. Let's go. Yeah. After 5 years, he was like, hey, I got to cut you off. And I still needed an extra semester. It took me 5.5 to graduate because I switched my major. And he said, I got to cut you off. And if there's any parents out there, sometimes like cutting your child off, I know it hurts, but looking back on it, that was the single best decision my grandpa had ever made for me because when he cut me off, it forced me to become a man and to make money. And so that's when I got into food running at Estancia in La Jolla, Hotel Del. I was a food runner and then a server. I'm fixing phones by day, running food by night.
Oh yeah, baby.
Stacking the cash, saving. I save up my first 40,000 and I deployed into real estate. That's how it all started.
Where did the passion come from for real estate?
Yeah. I always knew I wanted a wife, a family, and kids. Still don't have that, but like I know that's my North Star. I know where I'm going, right? And so I thought to myself, well, I didn't want to have to go to work because someone else told me. So I thought to myself, well, I like this entrepreneurship game because I could be my own boss. That was the thing that was intriguing to me. But also besides that is like I wanted to have cash flow coming in so that if I wanted to take my kids to Europe for the summer, we could go for a month.
Right.
And so I start planning like, okay, my goal, just so everyone knows, I'm going to put it out there because if you put it out there, it's likely that you'll attract things towards you to help you get there. I want 100,000 per month in cash flow is like my long-term goal. The first milestone is 50. So once I can get to 50K per month, like you're set. Like what are you going to do with like 50K? You're set. You're good. You pay for school, pay for flight.
Actually, that's what it takes to be comfortable in California.
Yeah, 50K a month. And so that's my goal.
You're staying in California. It's ridiculous. I was running the numbers. Chris, that is so badass that like you had no background in real estate. So there's no family track record.
Zero.
Nothing.
My grandpa owned one property in Lake Tahoe. He sold it in 2013 for $300K. The guy probably got a steal. He's now Airbnb-ing it. I wish I was in the game at that point because I would have bought it.
Oh, how cool would it be if you looked up the address and see what it's worth? That's a cool.
Yeah. I might buy it back from him today. We grew up in that house like, the winters and
that'd be sick.
Snow. So I plan to buy it back someday. I'll make the guy an offer he can't refuse.
Oh, I like it. You're going Godfather, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite thing about San Diego?
Favorite thing about San Diego?
What is your favorite, like, what hobby do you love?
The lifestyle. I mean, like the weather, of course, is nice year round. I've spent some time in Cincinnati in 2023 and 2024, and it's the weather's bipolar out there. 1 minute it could be sunny, and then the next thing it's like stormy and clouds and thunderstorms. And weather really affects your mood. People like it really does, whether people believe it or not. It's true. If it's sunny, you're going to feel better because you're getting that vitamin D. So I like that it's sunny in San Diego. I also like the vibe. I think people are like working, but they're kind of not working. It's kind of like, I always like make this funny joke. Like, I don't think people work in San Diego. People are all just wearing their Lululemon.
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it. Then I'm like, dude, you gotta pay the bills.
Yeah.
That'll make you work real quick.
Yeah.
You get to work real quick.
Yeah.
Chris, last thing before we wrap up. How come growing a brand, in your opinion, is so important?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think growing a brand is important because at the end of the day, you know, we're all going to die. Not to get dark on you guys, it's just the truth. Everyone's going to die. And your legacy, what you leave behind to your kids, to your family, future generations, is like who you were as a person, your personal brand. So how cool would it be for 2 generations from now, for my like I'll be 90. My grandpa's like 95 right now. His great grandma was 103. I'm not going to be all there if I'm blessed to live that long. But like, so say I'm older, right? And my great grandkids are like, dang, grandpa built this whole empire, this whole backyard thing. How did he do it? Like, I want to see that podcast he was in. I want to see his first deal. And so I started thinking to myself, why don't I know for a fact I will be successful. I will continue down this path. And I will get knocked down sometimes, but I'll get back up and I'll keep winning. I'll keep showing up. I want to document the entire thing so that my future kids can see that process. And so building a brand is for them, but it's also for the community. Look at all the leaders I can build by doing this and the lives of their kids and how we have an impact on that. So when you can start in your backyard, when you can build community, when you can build brand, so much good comes from it.
Thank you for being a positive impact in San Diego. Like, that's so badass, dude.
Thank you.
Like, seriously, I mean that because like, this is so much more than just about you.
Yeah.
It's not like you barely talked about like, I'm so cool. I'm the best.
Yeah.
It was all about other people. And I think that's where we got to share your journey, your story, like what makes Chris Luna tick. You're giving back to the community. And that's, you know, we get more of that. Like, how do we lose?
Yeah.
San Diego, it's the finest city to live in my opinion. Yeah. It's only going to get better. Like LA. Have you been to LA or San Francisco?
Oh, I've been to San Francisco. It's rough.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying. I just busted. Do you know Mikey Taylor?
I think I've heard of him, the pro skater.
Yeah. Oh man, St. Archer, like he's in the top 5. He's so smart, bro. Like he breaks down investing, like real estate investing, so easily digestible, like you do. And I think that's where we could take something complicated, make it easy to digest for your normal, homeowner right now that doesn't know what to do. They don't know what to do. Yeah. Like I'm sitting on all this equity, I have no idea what to do. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Well, I appreciate you having me on the podcast.
Absolutely. We're going to put all your links. Chris Luna, this won't be the last time. This is one of our go-to investor insiders. Thanks so much for joining us, my man.
Thank you for having me on.
Did you have fun?
I had a blast. This is great. This is good, man. Keep spreading the good word, inspiring people. It's cool to see like how serious you're taking this. Before we got on the show, you had said you're going to have Alex Hormozy sit in this seat. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we got to put that out into the world. However we can attract that and get him to sit here someday, I know it's going to happen. Like you're relentless and you have the grit. It's going to happen. So
when he comes here, because you help manifest it, I say we bring you on.
Let's go.
We'll do a duel. You know what? We'll have 5 minutes where Chris and I will interview Alex. So Alex,
there you go. Boom.
We're ready for you.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you, man.